Welcome, and thank you for joining today's session. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to walk through, step by step, how a federal contractor can stand up a strong program management support function specifically built for middle-manning engagements. Middle-manning is one of the fastest-growing delivery models in federal contracting, but it carries real risk if your PGM backbone is weak. By the end of this deck, you will have a practical 7-step framework, a 90-day quick start plan, and a clear picture of what good looks like. Let's get started. Here is how we will spend our time together. We will start with the foundations, defining middle-manning in federal contracting and making the business case for a strong program management support function. Then we'll walk through our 7-step framework, which is the heart of the deck. After that, we will look at the operating model, the roles, governance, tools, and standards that need to be in place. We'll close with measurement, maturity, common pitfalls, a worked example, and a 90-day quick start plan you can take back to your team. Before we talk about the program management support function, let's make sure we are speaking the same language about middle manning. Middle manning is a staffing and delivery model where a firm places mid-tier program and project management talent into a prime contractor's federal program team. Think project managers, PMO leads, schedulers, risk analysts, and deliverable managers. On the right, you can see where this layer fits in the program stack. It sits between the prime contractor's leadership and the engineers and field staff doing the work. Agencies buy this because it gives them surge capacity, specialized skills, and faster delivery without forcing the prime to grow its permanent headcount. Here is the case for investing in your program management support function. Across federal portfolios we have seen, roughly 3 out of 4 IT programs miss cost or schedule targets when PMO discipline is weak. On the other hand, firms with a mature PGM support function win recompetes at roughly 2.5 times the rate of their peers, and they cut deliverable rework by about 40%. Think of PGM support as a 4-lever business case. It helps you win more work, deliver more predictably, stay compliant with FR, DFARS, CMMC, and EVM, and scale repeatably from a single task order to a portfolio. That is why we treat this as the foundational capability for any firm in the middle manning game. Here is the framework we will use for the rest of the deck. 7 steps: assess, design, govern, tool, standardize, staff, and improve. It is intentionally ordered. You assess your portfolio and your clients first, so the operating model you design is anchored in real needs. You stand up governance before you buy tools, so technology serves the cadence rather than dictating it. You standardize on PMBOK, EVM, and FAR or DFARS before you scale staffing, so your people inherit a clear playbook. And you close the loop with continuous improvement. Done well, this gives you a repeatable, audit-ready PGM support function that grows with your contract portfolio. Step 1 is assessment. Before you change anything, get a clear, honest picture of your portfolio and your clients. Look at your contract vehicles, the performance work statements, the maturity of each client and their cores, your past performance and CPARS ratings, and the current maturity of your own PGM function. On the right is the kind of output we like to produce. A portfolio heat map that tells you, of your task orders, how many are high, moderate, and low risk. In the example at the bottom, a 60-person firm we worked with ran a 2-week assessment and found 2 contracts that lacked formal risk logs, which was about to become a CPARS issue. That kind of finding is exactly why this step comes first. Step 2 is the operating model. An operating model has to answer 3 questions. First, structure. Are your program managers centralized in one PMO that sets standards, or embedded inside individual program teams, or are you running a shared services model? Second, processes. What is your standard playbook from intake to close? What is your reporting cadence, and what logs are mandatory? Third, interfaces. Who talks to the contracting officer and the core? How do you handshake with the prime's program manager? And how do you coordinate with subs? If you can articulate those 3 columns clearly, you have an operating model. If you can't, you have ambiguity, and ambiguity is what causes CPARS issues. Step 3 is governance. Governance is the rhythm of decisions. We recommend a 6-layer cadence, summarized in this table. Daily stand-ups for blockers, weekly program status reviews, bi-weekly touchpoints with the core or client, monthly earned value and cost reviews, and a risk and compliance council, and quarterly business reviews with the prime or the agency. Each forum has a clear owner and a clear set of decisions it is expected to make. Here is the principle we live by. Every recurring meeting must produce a decision log. If a forum cannot point to the decisions it made last quarter, kill it or merge it. Governance is about decisions, not attendance. Step 4 is your toolkit. For a 2 to 5 person firm, you do not need Deltek Cobra or Primavera. You need 6 things, and we have priced each for you. For schedules, Microsoft Project, Smartsheet, or even a disciplined Excel plan. For tasks, Asana, Trello, or Microsoft Planner, all of which have free tiers. For cost and timesheets, QuickBooks for government contractors, BigTime, or Uninet's GovCon Lite tier are built for our world. For documents and secure email, Microsoft 365 Government Community Cloud is the floor. For pipeline and intel, sam.gov is free, and GovTribe, HireGov, or GovWin add competitor and award data. For risk and compliance, an Excel risk register is fine to start, but Vanta or Drata can automate your CMMC posture. Total monthly tool cost for a 5-person firm runs about $800 to $1,500. The guardrail at the bottom. If you ever touch controlled unclassified information, upgrade to GCC High before you bid. It costs 3 to 5 times more to retrofit later. Step 5 is standards. Federal clients do not want your custom methodology. They want yours aligned to theirs. The table walks through the standards that matter for most middleman in engagements. Project management standards from PMI's PMBOK guide. Earned value management from ANSI, EIA 748. Federal Acquisition Regulation Part 7, 15, and 42. Defense supplements and the NIST 800-171 controls. ATIL and ISO 9001 where service management and quality matter. And Section 508 for accessibility. For each one, we link a clear artifact your PGM team owns and the audit moment where that artifact will be checked. Our tip: map every clause of every performance work statement to a standard and an artifact. That single mapping is your audit defense. Step 6 is staffing. Think of your PGM talent as a pyramid. At the top, a portfolio or program director who owns the relationship and the roadmap. Below them, senior program managers, then project managers, then your specialist analysts in scheduling, cost, and risk. And the wide base is PMO coordinators and analysts who keep the function running. On the right, we show the hiring pipeline, bench scan, sourcing, skills vetting, clearance verification, and structured onboarding. Prioritize the certifications listed. PMP and PGMP, EVP, the Federal Acquisition Cert FACP/PM, ITIL 4, and Security Plus, or CISM when it is in scope. The example at the bottom is real. A 14-day onboarding playbook cut program manager, ramp time from 6 weeks down to 2. Step 7 closes the loop. You measure, you report, and you improve. On the left are the 6 KPIs we recommend tracking at the PGM function level. Cost and schedule performance index, on-time deliverable percentage, defect and rework rate, risk burn down, CPARS trend, and staff utilization. The chart on the right shows what good looks like over 12 months. CPI and SPI, both climbing from below 0.9 to roughly 1.0 as the function matures. And the loop at the bottom is your operating discipline. Measure, diagnose, decide, pilot, scale, and then measure again. Once the framework is in place, you need crystal clear roles. This is a sample RASI matrix sized for a 2 to 5 person federal contractor. Across the top, the 5 roles a small firm actually has: the owner or CEO, the program manager, whether in-house or a 199 contractor, a bookkeeper or cost lead, your subject matter experts who do the work, and any outsourced program management partner. Down the side, 7 critical activities. The legend at the bottom decodes R, A, C, and I. A few things to notice. Notice the owner is accountable for almost everything. That is the reality of a small firm. Your job as the owner is to make sure each row has exactly 1 R, one person doing the work, and exactly 1 A. The buck stops there. If 2 people are R or A on the same row, you have a problem. This is what good looks like for a 2 to 5 person federal contractor. At the top, the owner wears 3 hats: CEO, program manager, and lead client contact. Below that, in-house people you actually need on payroll. 1 or 2 senior subject matter experts, a small delivery team, and ideally a part-time coordinator who keeps schedules and reports moving. The bottom row is your fractional and outsourced bench. A bookkeeper or CPA who understands DCAA, a contracts or legal advisor for the far side, a cyber or CMMC advisor for your system security plan and plan of action and milestones, and an outsourced program management partner like Neybor for surge program managers, CPARS preparation, and recompete narratives. Here is the principle. Hire for delivery in-house, rent everything else. Let's talk about cost, the small firm version. On the left, we have an illustrative 8-quarter curve. The gold bars are your program management investment, starting around $12,000 in quarter 1 and stabilizing around $22,000 per quarter. Most of that is 1 fractional or 1099 program manager. The teal bars are contract value protected, cost overruns avoided, deliverables accepted on first pass, and recompetes retained. By quarter 2 or 3, the investment pays back. On the right, you can see where the dollars go. About 60% fractional or 199 program manager hours, 20% software, 10% certifications, and 10% reserved for cybersecurity maturity model certification and compliance work. Total annual investment for a small firm typically runs $48,000 to $90,000, well under the cost of a single CPARS-driven recompete loss. It helps to know where you sit, so you know where you need to go. This is a 5-level maturity model for PGM support, adapted from CMMI. Level 1 is ad hoc, heroics, one-off templates, and tribal knowledge. Level 2 is repeatable. You have a play that works for a single program. Level 3 is defined. You have enterprise standards, a RICI, and clear governance. Level 4 is managed, your function is quantitatively measured, and your EVM practice is mature. And level 5 is optimizing, continuous improvement, and increasingly AI-assisted work. Most small and mid-sized federal contractors sit between levels 1 and 2. With the framework we've walked through, getting to level 3 typically takes 6 to 9 months. Here is what your monthly PGM dashboard could look like. Across the top, the 5 health indicators we just talked about, with month-over-month deltas. In this example, CPI is at 1.03, SPI just over 1, on-time CDRLs at 97%, rework down to 2.4, and the CPARS average climbing to 4.3. Bottom left is your deliverable status pie. In a healthy month, the vast majority should be accepted, with a small pending sliver and almost nothing returned. Bottom right is the risk burn down for your high severity risks. The trajectory should be steadily downward, week by week. Build something like this in Power BI or Tableau and review it as a leadership team every month. Let me walk you through a worked example sized for a small firm. This is an illustrative 3-person A-to-A contractor we'll call Cardinal Federal LLC. They held 2 task orders, one with the Department of Defense and one with a civilian agency. At engagement, their cost performance index was 0.84, deliverables on time only 58%, CPARS at 3.0 out of 5, and their recompete was 7 months away with the customer signaling they were not happy. Over 5 months, they stood up the lean version of the PGM support function we've described, all for about $15,000 per quarter. By month 5, CPI was back above 1, on-time deliverables at 94%, rework cut by 2/3, CPARS up to 4.3, and they won the recompete. The 4 things that drove the turnaround were 1 fractional PMP certified program manager, 20 hours a week, a weekly client decision log, a disciplined Excel risk register reviewed every Friday, and closing their CMMC compliance gaps before audit. None of those four cost a lot. They are the basics of the framework we just walked through, sized for a tiny firm. These are the 6 pitfalls we see most often in small federal contractors. First, tool-first thinking. Buying Asana or Smartsheet before deciding how your cadence works. Design governance first, then pick the tool. Second, phantom racy. The owner ends up doing every task themselves because no one else is named. Even in a 3-person firm, every row needs one accountable. Third, earned value theatre. Status emails with no real numbers behind them. Track cost performance index monthly, even if it lives in a single Excel tab. Fourth, treating compliance as an afterthought. Map every clause of your performance work statement to a control on day 1, not on the day of the audit. Fifth, the owner as single point of failure. Document your plays and train at least one 199 backup program manager. If you get sick, the contract has to keep moving. And sixth, no decision log. Every recurring meeting should produce a 1-page decision summary within 24 hours. Compliance is not a one-time event. It is a series of touchpoints along the program lifecycle. Pre-award, source selection, and past performance review under Federal Acquisition Regulation Part 15. At award, your integrated baseline review, and the DD Form 254 if you are handling classified work. During execution, monthly cost performance reviews, contract modifications, and any requests for equitable adjustment and deliverable acceptance discipline. During surveillance, your interim contractor performance assessment reporting system reviews, audits from the Defense Contract Management Agency or Defense Contract Audit Agency, and Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification or NIST 800-171 assessments. And at closeout, final CPARS, property disposition, and lessons learned. Build a map like this for each task order, even if you have only one, and the small firm version of this might just be a single Excel tab. The rule of thumb at the bottom is the same one we've been repeating. Every performance work statement clause maps to an artifact, an owner, and an audit moment. If you take nothing else away, take this 90-day plan. Days 1 through 30, diagnose, run the portfolio assessment, score your maturity, build the PWS clause to artifact map, and interview key stakeholders. Days 31 to 60, design and stand up. Publish the RACI and operating model. Go live with your governance cadence, stand up risk and decision logs, and provision the tool stack. Days 61 through 90. Operate and prove. Run your first monthly EVM cycle, run your first quarterly business review with the client, ship version 1 of the KPI dashboard, and create the improvement backlog. In 90 days, you can move from level 1 to a credible level 3 on the maturity model. Let's tie this together with the 6 takeaways. 1. Middle manning is a delivery model, and program management support is what makes it actually deliver. 2. Follow the 7 steps in order. Assess, design, govern, tool, standardize, staff, and improve. 3. Governance is about decisions, not attendance. 4. Map every clause of every performance work statement to a standard, an artifact, an owner, and an audit moment. 5. Most small and mid-sized contractors sit at maturity level 1 or 2, and level 3 is achievable in 6 to 9 months. And 6, you can stand up the function in 90 days, and done well, it pays back in 3 to 4 quarters. Briefly about who we are. Neybor Consulting helps federal contractors design, stand up, and scale program management support functions. We specialize in middle manning engagements where mid-tier program management talent must integrate seamlessly with prime contractors and agency clients. We offer 4 core services: end-to-end PGM function build, audit and maturity review, EVM and compliance support across FR, DFARS, and CMMC, and talent and onboarding, including bench services and our 14-day ramp playbook. Thank you for your time today. If anything we walked through resonated, whether it is the 7-step framework, the 90-day plan, the maturity model, or just one specific pitfall you recognized in your own organization, we would love to talk. Visit neyborconsulting.com or click the button on this slide to book a consultation. We will help you turn this framework into a concrete 90-day plan for your firm, with measurable milestones and a clear path to a stronger program management support function. Thank you, and we look forward to building with you.